Welcome to the testosterone danger zone. Women to the left and men to the right. Too high for women and too low for men can cause major health problems. And weirdly enough, they're both often caused by the same condition. I'm a human biology teacher on a quest to teach you what's going on inside your flesh suit, so let's jump in. For men, the danger zone starts when testosterone drops below about 300. That's technically the clinical cutoff. And most men don't even realize that they're struggling with it until they've had fatigue, brain fog, belly fat, loss of muscle, and erectile dysfunction for years. And then instead of asking why testosterone is crashing, this system is quick to hand out pills and injections as band-aid solutions to those issues. More.
Hey, Shalom, brother, Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, coming back with another one. I want to start off this lesson by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. And this is one of the biggest issues that you're ever going to have in your life, right? And I'm mainly focusing on you men, right? Even though this issue is affecting women as well, right? That's why you might see your mother or your grandmother in the bathroom plucking her whiskers, right? Or her beard. That happens due to too much testosterone, due to bad food. But it's affecting us as men in a negative way because we are being inundated with all these microplastics, right? Microplastics to where we cannot function properly. Now let's get the benefits of testosterone. Now this is from Google AI overview, so obviously it's just a quick synopsis. It's not a deep dive. It can go even deeper, and it says testosterone benefits men by maintaining bone density, muscle mass, red blood cells, cell production, and fat distribution, right? So this benefits the Edomite, right? Two ways, because through the medical association, they get to make money off of all these problems now, because these are the problems that people are suffering from. Secondly, they get to weaken a population of people through the men. The men are weak, and the men are not intelligent, right? That's why they push those type of TV shows on us, where you're like, Homer Simpsons or, Family Guy or whatever, right? But that is true, right? Through lack of testosterone. That's why those men are usually what? Pudgy, right? And that's due to lack of testosterone. Or they're usually dumb, which is true, due to lack of testosterone, right? That lack of testosterone can affect you in many, many ways. But like it says, maintaining bone density, right? That's why in this society, most people you see in wheelchairs by a certain age. It's not like that in other countries. In other countries, old people are walking up hills, walking down hills with baskets on their head, right? Because they can maintain bone density. It says muscle mass, right? Now, most people in this society, they don't have muscle, right? They have what? They have fat. It says red blood cells, red blood cell production. See, that's a whole nother lesson right there, going into the benefits of red blood cells. Let's get a quick synopsis on the benefits of red blood cells. 1 second. Right, now this is Google AI overview. Benefits of red blood cells. Red blood cells are essential for life. And that's what they're fucking with, right? When they fuck with testosterone, they're fucking with your red blood cells. And red blood cells are essential, right? Look that word up. For life, primarily by transporting oxygen from the lungs to the body's tissues and carrying carbon dioxide, a waste product, back to the lungs for exhalation, right? It says this function is made possible by the protein hemoglobin, which binds to these gases. Their unique concave shape and flexibility allow them to travel through even the smallest blood vessels to deliver oxygen to every part of the body. Right? So some people are probably suffering from that. Lack of red blood cells. Okay? So let's go back. So back to testosterone. It says red blood cells production and fat distribution. Okay, most of us, we get fat where? In our bellies, right? In our face. Okay. It says right, when we're in the kingdom, our women, they're going to be able to be under a proper diet, so the fat is going to distribute to the places that they actually want the fat. Right? To their asses, to their titties. It says it is also crucial for sexual function. Okay? Very, very crucial for sexual function. That's how important. But with the lack of sexual function, they have created a whole space for their medical association, right? Whether it's erectile dysfunction drugs for men, and now they're creating those drugs also for women. Okay. Now even in this society now, the big thing among black men is honey packs, right? Everybody needs a honey pack now. You know why? Lack of testosterone, right? If your testosterone was high, you wouldn't need that. That's due to lack of testosterone. Okay? It says sperm production and the development of facial and body hair. Additionally, testosterone can positively impact mood, energy levels, and cognitive functions, okay? Which the majority of men today, like when I was speaking about Homer Simpson or Family Guy or whatever, their cognitive function is very low. And most men's cognitive function is very low. And that's why women in this society seem smart, okay? They seem smart because they are increasing in testosterone while the men is decreasing in testosterone. So his cognitive function is low, right? He's becoming cloudy. He's becoming irrational, right? He's becoming bitchy. Now this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 1, right? Which this is in the Apocrypha, which is a part of the 1611 version Bible. And it says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. All right, let's get that word real quick. Physician. Now this is the word.
Physician.
A person qualified to practice medicine. It says a person who cures moral or spiritual ills. A healer. I like that. Wow. So the prophets, right, were also healers as well. Healers through the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Right? That's how we heal. We heal through the truth. Right? But this is going into the physician. Men that are actually sent by the Most High to be knowledgeable in these things, right? They know how to put this and this together, right? Those things are actually very important, man. Okay, so it says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye have of him, for the Lord hath created him. See? So just like the Most High created a prophet, right? The Most High created basketball players, singers, right? That's the man's talent. His talent might be a physician. Okay? It says, for the Most High cometh, for of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. It says, verse 3, the skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. And these modern day companies, right, these scientists, they're not lifted up, right? They're held in contempt, right? After you people are diagnosed with this and you're diagnosed with that, they'll sell you on this drug, sell you on that, and then after, they make their billions, then they tell you, oh, there was all these different complications and now you're suing them for millions, right? So they made billions, but you only get to sue them for millions. So really and truly, it's worth it. They don't deter them from doing that again, right? That's a good business plan. If you get to make billions, knowing that you're going to get sued for millions, then guess what? The billions is worth it, because all you have to do is pay the people off millions, but you've already made your billions, right? That's how sick and degenerate this society is, right? It says, verse 4, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. That is the point. That's the main point, right? All the medicines that we need, the Heavenly Father has already created, right? There's nothing that you can create as man that the Most High hasn't thought of already. If you were living according to the dietary law that the Most High has already set, then there would be no need for everything that you as a man is trying to create, unless you are a physician that's creating medicines from the earth, right? Like brothers in the camp, right, that know how to use the different herbs, right? Whether that's a bark, you might need to use a leaf, different leaves, different seeds, different fruits. You might need to use water. You might need to use minerals, right? You might need to use oils, whatever it is that you need. That brother would know, right? What it's going to take to heal or to cure you. But most healing starts from your diet, right? That's where it all starts from. But we don't have access in this society to real food. The food that we have access to is all genetically modified. Now this is Google AI overview, and I asked, how does GMO foods affect the human body? And it says scientific and regulatory bodies generally agree genetically modified foods currently available on the market are as safe to eat as their non-GM counterparts and do not pose different health risk. Wow. So what they're saying the food that the Most High made, that's created out of the earth, and a genetically modified food is the exact same thing. Let's keep reading, right? Because you always have to remember the devil is in the details, okay? And do not pose different health risks. While some animal studies and alternative sources raise concerns, right? So it says they did studies on animals, and alternative sources raise concerns about potential negative effects, but it's the same. It's the same as a person eating a watermelon. When I was growing up, there was no negative side effects from eating a watermelon. But this man is saying the GMO counterpart and the GMO watermelon and the real watermelon is the same effect. Okay, let's continue to read. It says, raise concerns about potential negative effects such as organ abnormalities or toxicity. But this man said there's no need for concern. God damn. It says such as organ abnormalities or toxicity. Many of these findings have been questioned due to limitations in their methodology, which all they're doing, these companies, all they're doing is questioning these studies, right? They do that always, okay? That's how they discredit different findings that are true. So the findings or the research or the study is true, but because they don't like it, they discredit it because they're the ones that are making all the money, right? These are billion-dollar companies, trillion-dollar companies. They're able to discredit different research companies because those research companies might not be funded by them. They only give adherence to research or scientists that they fund. It says, have been questioned due to limitation in their methodology or have been discredited. Okay. So show us them being discredited. Okay? They can't. Because there's right now in this article, there should be a link that shows us how they've been discredited. The long-term health effects of consuming GMO foods are still a subject of research and public discussion, but regulatory agencies require rigorous safety testing before GM foods are approved for commercial use. That's a lie. Evidence supporting the safety, let's listen to what they say. Overwhelming scientific consensus, just like when they told you people to take the snake bite, right? Those were scientists that told you to take the snake bite. Okay? It says major scientific organizations, including the AMA, the American Medical Association. Who's that? That's what I was waiting for them to say. The American Medical Association. The American Medical Association are the ones that created the medical industry that we have now, with all the pills, with all the scenes, if you know what I'm trying to say. They're the ones that created all of that. They're the profiteers off of the medical industry today. So obviously, they're going to be one of the proponents or the investors in GMOs. Okay? It says the American Medical Association, the World Health Organization, and we should know who those people are, right? The who? The owl, right? They're the ones that promoted what? The Beetlejuice, right? They forced you people to take a Beetlejuice 5 years ago. How did that work out for you? And these are the people promoting GMOs? Come on, man. Come on. So back to Ecclesiasticus 38:4. It says, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. Let's get that word. I want the etymology. Let's see the meaning, and then I'll get the etymology. Hold on. This is the word.
Medicine.
It says the science or practice of the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease in technical use, often taken to exclude surgery. Often, no, you're not supposed, exactly. If the medicine is working, you shouldn't need surgery. Surgery was man-made. The Most High didn't create surgery. It says a compound. When you need surgery, that means you've let the problem go for so long that you're trying to take something out that has been exacerbated for a long time. Okay? When something has grown inside of you, now your only choice is to try and take it out because you know that it's gonna affect you negatively. It's gonna delete you. Right? But if you were following a proper diet, right, according to the Most High, right? Because there's certain foods that we can eat and there's certain foods that we cannot eat. The Most High has limited us when it comes to our consumption of meat, right? You can't eat pork. You can't eat shellfish. There are certain things that we cannot eat. We cannot eat food with blood, right? And a lot of our people, right, being around the devil, that's what they're starting to eat now. You're starting to see our people consume beef that's rare with the blood in it. Our people never used to do that, but that's a new trend, right? Our people are like, yeah, I need my meat rare. Okay. Oh, it tastes better. Oh, it chews better. Okay. That's breaking the law. That's a breaking of the law. If you consume meat with the blood still in it, right, you can still see the red. That means there's still blood in it. Right? It says too, a compound or preparation used for the treatment or prevention of disease, especially a drug or drugs taken by mouth. No, that's wrong. Right? It's supposed to be food. It's supposed to be food. The food that you eat or your diet, right? And a part of your diet as well is fasting or water, right? When you watch most people, right, especially children, they don't drink water. Lots of people don't drink water, right? When I was growing up, I grew up with this youth. His name was Ishmael. And that guy, every single day, he drank a Coca-Cola. And we used to be like, bro, you don't drink water? Man's like, no, he just drinks Coca-Cola. Fucked up, right? But a lot of people don't consume water. They just consume sugars, okay? And that's what's killing you as well. So this is the etymology of the word, just to show the different meanings, all right? And so it says, or the root, this is the root of the word, medical treatment, okay? Not a pill, okay? And not a surgery, right? Surgery is not a treatment, right? A surgeon is a butcher, right? That's what a surgeon is. Surgeons are usually taking something out of your body that they're telling you that your body doesn't need. Well, if your body don't need it, then why did the Most High put it there? That means they know better than the Most High? That's foolishness. It says medical treatment, cure, and healing. That's the point, right? That's the root word of the medicine. The medicine is supposed to cure you, right? That's what you go for. When you're sick, you're not whole. You want to be whole again, right? To be whole again means that you're cured of whatever it is that the practitioner is telling you to take is supposed to make you whole, right? You're not supposed to be coming back every week or every month or every year, or he's telling you, oh, this might flare up again. No, that's not supposed to happen. That means you weren't cured, okay? Unless you're going to turn back to that lifestyle that you were living before the ailment happened, right? It says medical treatment, cure, healing. It says also early 14th century, substance used in treatment of a disease, right? See, when you have a disease, it just means that your body is at dis-ease. How do you get your body at ease again? And it's usually through different foods or water or exercise. It says medicinal portion or plaster, also used figuratively of spiritual remedies. Sometimes that's what it is, right? A lot of people, when they eat their food or they take their medicines or whatever the situation may be, you don't pray to the Most High, right? The majority of our illnesses are spiritual. When you see a person that's blind, when you see a person that's crippled, right? That can be a spiritual reason, right? It could be a demon. For instance, let's get a scripture to prove that. Now this is Matthew chapter 8 and 16, and it reads, when the evening was come, they brought unto him, who's the him? Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls the J word. It says, right unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word and healed all that were sick. See? So sometimes that's what the problem is, right? Sometimes the problem is not something that can be done with herbs or with diet, right? Sometimes it's because you're possessed with a devil, and that spirit, right, could be an evil spirit, right? Like myself, right? My demon, so to speak, is alcohol, right? That's medicine can't cure that. There's no herb that I could drink to say, oh, you know, that's what I could take to stop that. No, that's an addiction, right? Like you people that smoke. The majority of people that smoke, they don't know why they smoke. They just got so used to smoking that they just need to smoke. It's an addiction, right? Now this is the etymology. This is Edom Online. And this is the word addiction from the 16th century. Tendency, right? Inclination, right? You're inclined to that. Oh, this is a good word. Penchant, right? It's where penchant means like habitual. You know what? Let's look that word up, because that's actually a really good word. Penchant. Hold on. This is the word? Yeah, penchant. A strong or habitual liking for something or tendency to do something, right? Meaning that you're not in control. So who is in control? Right? Just like people that overconsume food, right? A lot of times they're not even in control, right? We call it a worm, right? It could be a worm inside of your stomach, but that's really a demon, right? That demon is penchant, right? That's actually a really good word. I'm glad that they put that word there, right? Because it says a strong or habitual liking for something, meaning that you're not in control, right? And sometimes that's how it is. And sometimes that's why they say, oh, I'm craving this, right? Sometimes it's not even really you that are actually craving that thing that you're craving, okay? It's that demon that's making you do that. So that's how healing works as well. It's actually a spiritual healing that most people need. A lot of us, we have what do you call it? Things that are handed down, curses, generational curses that are handed down to us as well. Okay, so it says penchant, a less severe sense, now obsolete. 1640, state of being self-addicted to a habit, pursuit, which is good, right? If you can change that, if you can switch it over to something positive, then that's a good thing, but most people can't, right? Because you still got that demon on you. From Latin, addictium, nominative, addicto, and awarding. See? Because that's what you're doing. You're awarding the demon. Okay? Like here, one after another, whether it's donuts, whether it's shots, whether it's weed, right? Or whether it's cigarettes. Because the guy, how do you know it's an addiction? Because the guy that smokes, he needs to smoke a pack a day. That's an addiction, bro. Right? If you were just somebody that just said, yeah, I like to smoke, and you were in control, you'd be able to smoke maybe 2 for the day, 3 for the day. Why do you need to smoke 10 cigarettes for the day? Why do you need to smoke 6 spliffs for the day? Right? That's an addiction, bro. You can't, and then you, as the person, you can't even see that, because now you have made that what? You have made that normal, okay? It says a delivering up. See, you're delivered up to that addiction. Noun of action from past participle. Stem of adiciere, to deliver, award, devote, right? Consecrate, sacrifice. So that addiction becomes your God. It's like a God. See, that's why it says to devote or to sacrifice, because you'll sacrifice anything for it, right? No matter what, you'll give up, right? Like if you're a smoker, you'll rather smoke than to eat, right? That's why a lot of guys that smoke weed, people that smoke weed, you don't really see them eat, because as long as they have the smoke, they're good, right? It says the sense of compulsion, right? It's a compulsion due to the demon and need to take a drug as a result of prior use of it. See, because then you should have got satisfaction, right? It's like eating. Once you eat, you're supposed to be satiated. You're supposed to be satisfied. But you'll eat, and then you need to eat again. And then you'll need to eat again. So you're not satisfied, right? So something's off, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go back. So back to Matthew 8:16. When the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and he healed all that were sick, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the word that heals, right? A lot of people are walking around with talisman, right? Like in Jamaica, they call it guzu. You know, they'll have their guard ring or they'll have their guard chain, and they think that's going to help them. No, that's not what's going to help you. The word of the Most High is what heals. Okay? Now, that power in this world is dissipating because in this world is mostly filled with wickedness. Okay? And then the only way to get to that healing is not even through the Father. Nobody on the planet Earth can get to the Father. The only person that can get to the Father is the Son, right? And the Son is not here, right? And the Son, who the world ignorantly calls the J word, his name is Yahushua. He's only dealing with a certain sect of people, right? And he's healing them through what? Through the word. Now this is St. John chapter 6 and 63. And it reads, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. Right? So through this flesh, this is not where you get the profit. It says the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Right? So it's the word. Right? So when you people are talking about, oh, I'm in the spirit, the spirit of what? Right? The spirit is the word. Right? The word is the truth. Right? That's why the scripture says, blessed is he that readeth. Right? So when you're in the spirit, you're in the spirit of truth. So that's how you're going to be healed first spiritually. Right? We're not going to be healed physically, especially not in these bodies. Is there things that we can do to ease our different pains? Of course there is. But in these bodies, we've been what? Right? What does Deuteronomy say? This is Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And that's what we are living. We are living under our curses. The curse of not following our dietary law and every other law that was given to us. So don't think that we're going to find that healing in these bodies, right? Because we're really and truly under a curse, right? A curse to where we have to go to our enemies for the want of all things, and our enemies are poisoning us. We're being poisoned through our food. We're being poisoned through the clothes. We're being poisoned through our water, our air, the fabrics that we wear, right? This devil doesn't even give us real fabric. A lot of the fabric that we're wearing is polyester. Polyester is not even fucking real. or synthetic shit, right? That's how much of a devil this fucking man is, to where the clothes that we wear is not even friggin' real, right? Back in the day, we would wear, you could wear hemp, you could wear cotton, right? There's different fabrics that you could wear, linen, right? Cashmere, leather, different leather, obviously not pig leather, right? Because even now, a lot of the leather is actually pig leather, which is against the law, all right? But that's this devil. What are you going to expect? Even the brushes, like you might go to the store and buy a brush for your hair, a lot of it is pig, right? Or boar, right? So you're brushing your hair with boar. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, this man's a damn devil, man. Right? So that's why we're under these curses. And one of the curses that we're under, especially as men, is this.
Then it's the opposite problem. Testosterone climbing too high. Normal testosterone in a woman is somewhere between 15 and 70. But in women with PCOS, oftentimes that average is closer to 90, which is quite a bit above the healthy range. And it explains symptoms like hair loss from the top of the head, excess facial hair growth, cycle issues like endometriosis, which can lead to devastating infertility. And yet, when women present with these issues, they're handed birth control pills and metformin to cover the symptoms, but never address the root cause. So here's what these companies will never tell you. Both men and women often end up in this danger zone for the same reason: insulin resistance. If your body can't process sugar and starches effectively because it no longer responds to the insulin.
See what she went to? She went straight to diet. Straight to diet is always the issue, no matter what. None of us can get away from it. We won't get to these causes if we have a proper diet. She went straight to diet, right? Insulin resistance, which means that your blood sugar is spiking too much, right? You're eating too much processed sugar, right? Not that you can't eat sweet foods, right? It's not that you can't have honey. It's not that you can't have a mango, right? But that processed sugar, right? That bleached sugar, that white sugar that we've been so accustomed to, that's in most of our foods, right? That's what's messing us up.
Then it causes a whole chain of hormonal events. In women, testosterone goes up, and in men, testosterone goes down. And the result is a whole generation of people with hormone imbalances that come with devastating consequences, and a medical system that profits from keeping it this way. But here's the good news. Type 2 diabetes, which is really just late-stage insulin resistance, can totally be reversed with the right tools. And one of
Exactly, and I agree with her, right? Type 2 diabetes can be reversed. Having type 2 diabetes have become normalized in our community, right? Amongst both our women and our men, to where they think it's not reversible. They think that, oh, it's just a part of my family. My grandma had it, my mom had it, my dad had it, which means I'm going to have it. Nope. It's just that diet, right? So I just wanted to make that quick lesson, because a lot of us are suffering from these different ailments, right? We're not immune to anything in this world, right? We're still under the curses, right? We're not going to be delivered until you get the new bodies. None of us are under the second covenant, right? We're all under the first covenant. And due to us being under the first covenant, we're all still under the curses unless we are delivered by Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Right? So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well, and to the brothers that are on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Only the elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3. Shalom to you and to you only.